We are live.
Good morning, Orlando. This is Alan Maycumber with Premier Sotheby's here in Lake Nona. Wanted to get with you today. We have a lot of special guests, and I wanted to focus on Lake Nona Voice. We're going to be doing a new series weekly that is going to encompass quite a few special guests and really get you up to speed on what we're doing in Lake Nona. So to the right of me as I go around, I have the principal of Northlake Park Elementary School, Mr. Lee Parker. He is the man when it comes to the elementary school in Northlake Park. And to his right, I have Commissioner Jim Gray. He is the Commissioner of District 4, and he is going to be answering quite a few of our questions today. And next to him, we have Special Liaison Officer from the Orlando Police Department, Mr. Edgar Malave. And if you have questions, please comment and share, call in. Of course, my phone is being used for this video, so you won't be able to call my phone, but that's okay. Leave a message, I'll get back to you. But I'm going to start out really with a couple of really important questions for the school year, Mr. Parker. We were talking earlier about the children count for your school.
Yes.
Which is unusually low by your estimations, which
yes.
at some point can be good.
Yes.
But what is it that you are going to need? I mean, because I heard recently on the news that they're short of school supplies. So is there something that we can do? Is there something that I can do as a group, or Commissioner Gray might be able to do, or something that we can help you out?
Yes, and you know what, Alan, there's going to be schools in different situations when it comes to the need of school supplies. So for like a school like myself located here in Lake Nona, we all know we have amazing parental support, here in our area. A lot of times we don't go without, but there are schools that are in different situation than we are. So maybe seeking out those schools that may be in a more fragile community that could use some support would be great. I'll go with a theme that I started last school year of asking parents for just grace and flexibility as we move forward, through this upcoming school year. And because we're still unsure how many things are going to play, out. But if a parent really wants to know, what is it can I do to help my school where you're going, is get involved with your PTA. Lots of great opportunities for community building, fundraising, is always appreciated. But get involved with your PTA. They have a voice, not just in fundraising, but they have a voice like a state platform with a statewide PTA that lobbies in the legislature. So they're a great organization. When you meet your child's teacher, so many teachers today will have a wish list on Amazon. So there's things that they need that go beyond pencil, paper, glue, scissors. There's things that teachers really like to have in their classrooms to help them create that positive environment, whether it's rewards for students, things to give to a student when they show great behavior, or show great attitude, or show a lot of perseverance or grit, and they like to reward those things. And so most teachers, those things come out of their pocket. So ask your teacher if they have an Amazon wish list, or what is it that they need in their classroom to make their classroom environment really conducive for learning for the year. And then, any principal, if you want to give to their principal's discretionary fund, no one's going to say no to that. But a lot of times that's what we would use. Let's say we wanted to buy our staff members lunch, one day. We don't really get budgeted with taxpayer dollars for that. Yeah. So things like our principal's discretionary fund we use to buy things for teachers, just the little things like a staff t-shirt or things of that nature. So we principals always appreciate that. But I would just say, when you meet your child's teacher, ask them what it is that they could really use to make their classroom environment what they want it to be for the year.
That is great. Thank you very much, because I think that, as you know, I'm a huge supporter of Northlake Park. Both my children went there. They graduated. They do great. So we're always a big supporter of the schools in general, whether it be the high school football programs, whatever. So we're always here for you, and anything I can do for you or for any other school that you might think need it, let me know.
I will.
And we do have one more quick question for you. In terms of the mask mandate or the situation going on with masks, what is your plan moving forward, being that now Orange County is quote unquote increasing? Are you going to require your younger students to wear masks or not?
Yeah, luckily for me, I don't have to make that decision.
Okay.
You know, we'll follow whatever district guideline, you know, comes about. You know, when they recently voted to make masks optional starting August the 2nd, you know, they did reserve the right to update that should things change and how numbers look within Orange County. So I, of course, will follow, you know, the district guideline. I think what we have to do at the school level when it comes to that is make sure that people who want to wear a mask, it's fine. There will probably be times when I'm in a large group of people that I will too. And that let people know it's okay to wear it, it's okay to not wear it. You know, that's your choice. And that's probably going to have to be some conversations that we have, not just with kids, to let them know, you know, it's okay if people make different choices, and we respect those choices that people make. So I think as far as masks go for us at the school level, kind of like boots on the ground kind of thing, is it making sure people know it's okay, whichever choice they make, we're going to support them.
Thank you very much for that. I'm going to go ahead and move to Mr. Gray. A couple of really important questions for you.
Sure.
Are, of course, the road updates. I know that you said originally, way back, that it would take another 2 years. So if you can fill us in on the road update, maybe possibly fill us in on the library and the community center update. We would love to get a little bit more.
Yeah, a lot of neat things happening. Let's go to the Narcoossee Road expansion first, which is always a challenge. We're well underway. We're right now working on the intersection of Lake Nona Boulevard and Narcoossee with some utility placement, but we're close to getting that done. And then we will head north up Narcoossee all the way to the beach line. It'll take us at least another year, probably a year and a half. And that factors in weather and all kinds of other things. But the main thing is the contractors required to keep 4 lanes of traffic open, 2 each way. Throughout the day, they can go down to 1 lane each way at night. But so far, not perfect, but traffic's been moving pretty well there. So they're well on their way. As it relates to the library and the community center, that's kind of the exciting news because we've worked on this for a long time. But, you know, as Lake Nona's continue to grow, a lot of the residents, rightfully so, have wanted a library. And we need it. It's important for the community. And at the same time, we felt like Lake Nona needed a little bit more presence out here from the city of Orlando. We're the furthest away from HQ, so to speak. You know, we're the furthest outpost. And so a lot of our folks here, both you know, on the residential side and commercial, needed to go downtown for things like building permits and inspection requests, et cetera, et cetera. So a lot of that's online, but we wanted to do something out here so people felt like they were connected to the city. And so we're going to do a Southeast Government Center. And the point is we're going to co-locate both of those together, share on some resources, share on the building, share on the parking, et cetera. So last month, the library board approved that. And so we're in the final design now. And so I would guess plus or minus, nothing ever happens as fast as you want it to, but I would guess plus or minus a year from now, we should be pretty close to opening a government center, which will be, we'll have a police substation there. We'll also have, you know, as I said, permitting, inspection, some other things, but also community rooms. So whether it's the Ladies Flower Club, the book club, an HOA, they'll have a place to go meet. Right now, we meet at either churches or at schools. We don't have that facility. So we're doing that. We'll also have the library co-located. So that's an exciting time for us. So plus or minus a year, we should be open for business.
Thank you very much for that. That's huge. Now, can you dictate a little bit on the roads? What's going to happen with this community center? What's going to happen with Dowden? Because we were told last week that Dowden now is going to connect into some other road. Now, I know originally it was planned to connect in the, was it Heinz Miller or?
Yeah, it
And
was.
Now, where is that, are we still on board for the normal split that they were talking about, where it was gonna split prior to the Northlake Park back entrance and go around the ball fields, or is there change to that?
Yeah, no, here's the plan, and we're only millions of dollars away, but we have a plan. And the plan is basically Dowden Road, as you know it now, about halfway towards the airport, starts to loop south and go towards Northlake Park. The plan has Dowden Road going straight to the west, just due west to the airport border, and then going south along the banks, the western bank of Lake Nona, and connecting down by the tennis center. So that will be a big relief from Narcoossee Road, so we can get people to get down into the kind of the Lake Nona town center area without having to get on Narcoossee. Back to the challenge we always face: money. And that majority of that goes over airport land, and so you have two issues: one, funding, and then two, approval to make sure you don't have to, breach any security agreements that the airport has. So it's being discussed. I can't tell you that there's a plan on the board now, but that's eventually what will happen. Dowden will connect to Lake Nona Boulevard down by the tennis center.
So it will split up farther.
Yeah, it'll stay further away from the homes and be north of the current baseball field park to get it away from,
That's awesome.
from the house.
That's something that I've been asked multiple times.
Yep.
I get a question, answer it, so they want to
Yep.
really know that. Is there any other important information in general that Lake Nona that you see coming or not?
Yeah, I think for all of us, and it's interesting because out here, the city and the county kind of blend together. Some people don't know if you're in the city or the county. Little tidbit here, free info I share with neighbors. A lot of people don't know. If you're not sure if you're in the city or the county, look at the street sign. And if there's a fountain, that means you're in the city of Orlando. If there's an orange, that means you're in Orange County. But it doesn't really matter because we get along well with our Orange County team, and if it's a city issue, they call us and vice versa. But back to your point, I think what's really starting to evolve now, the next kind of new frontier is happening east of us. It's in Orange County, and it's called Sunbridge. And that's the big Del Webb community. They seem to be getting a lot of activity and a lot of traction. And so I think you're going to see more things happen further to the east. We have this Split Oak Preserve, the sensitive environmental area that we're having to work around. But I know the county's deep into that. But that's what I see as kind of the new frontier. It's kind of hard to go to the west because of the airport and some other challenges there from infrastructure. So that's kind of where I see Lake Nona going further to the east.
Very good. Thank you very much. That's really important information for those people looking for a house, since there's not very many there. You might want to look out Sunbridge. Sunbridge is a beautiful community. I've been out there.
And my guess is you could probably show them something out
I
there.
could probably help them out. I've been doing it 30 years. I might as well keep going, right?
Right.
So our next guest today is Special Liaison Officer Edgar Malave, and I wanted to get really good input for what he suggests for going back to school, safety issues. I mean, I know when we're talking to kids and traffic, especially with the road construction, I know I had a fender bender at 528 in Narcoossee 2 weeks ago. My wife almost killed me for killing her car. But, it's like people just don't, it seems like some people don't know how to drive. And it's like, you don't know the difference between what turn on red means and what not turn on red means. And, so with all this construction, any advice, especially for the kids?
Well, if we're driving, I would say we slow it down, because construction makes everything confusing for everyone. But as the kids go back to school, that is one of the things we always wish the parents would listen more to what the school tells them. If they have designated drop-off locations for the kids, it's because they've already studied the surrounding area and they feel that's going to be the safest for the kids. So, for example, don't drop the kids off in the middle of Narcoossee if you can wind through a certain school. In Northlake Park, they have areas where they want you to drive in, drop the kids off, and areas maybe in the rear.
Only if they disobeyed you the night before you drop them in the middle.
Yeah.
You want to play leapfrogger through the traffic. But yeah, you know, and the safety with the children from the time they leave the house. If they're walking on their own, you tell them, you know, to be careful when they cross. You know, just because you're crossing a crosswalk, it doesn't mean the guy comes paying attention. I mean, the pedestrians on the crosswalk have the right of way, but you always make eye contact with the driver. Make sure the cars come to a complete stop before you start going. Those are little things to teach the kids. If there's a crossing guard, wait for the crossing guard.
How are we doing with crossing guards in terms of, do we have enough crossing guards for everything that's going on now in Lake Nona, or?
We have enough crossing guards. If there's a designated area for crossing guard, it's going to have someone crossing kids there. Whether it's an actual crossing guard or a police officer, we'll always have someone at that location if it's a designated crossing guard location. It doesn't mean that, you know, people cross themselves. Obviously, if the kids are there, it's another one we tell them. If you're on a bicycle or you're on foot, wait for the crossing guard. He'll tell you when the safest time to cross is. Don't go out there and then force the crossing guard to stop traffic while you're halfway across.
That's very important to know because I see that quite a bit.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of times today, kids aren't paying attention. They just do, and they don't think a little bit, which is normal. I think we've all gone through that
Yeah.
stage, but I think it's very important that these crossing guards keep their wits about them because we sure don't want any of the kids getting hurt.
Absolutely.
Especially when you got drivers like me that, you know, come on.
All right, we're all the same, man. We're all in a rush.
But anyway, I just wanted to really get a brief synopsis of what's going on. I appreciate you guys being here. Again, we're always here for Northlake Park Elementary School, the middle school, the high school. Really, this is about Lake Nona. This is what I want to do, is to bring new light to Lake Nona. What's really happening, and if there is anything that you guys can think of before we get off the air that is important that people should know, please let them know, because again, we don't get this opportunity very often. I know you're very busy. I know you're busy. Mr. Parker's getting ready to be very busy. Right now, I'm open. Okay, I'm good. So, you know, it's a little bit easier for me to work into my schedule. But do you have any input?
I mean, the one thing I would say, and we all know this, it's just a friendly reminder, especially as school starts, and I'm as guilty as anybody, is to kind of, when we get in that car and turn the key and get started, whether we're going to work, going shopping, taking our kids to school, whatever, please just take a couple extra minutes, slow down a bit. It's not going to ruin your day if you're 2 or 3 minutes behind your normal schedule. But especially at school, the number one complaint that my office receives is about traffic, speed enforcement, et cetera, because we have a lot of neighborhoods, and we have, by design, a lot of kids out playing in the neighborhood. That's what we want. We want our kids out, active and energized, and so I would just say, slow down a bit. It's okay if you're a couple minutes late. In the long run, it's probably better off, especially with school starting.
Well, I had one person write in on a question in terms of the traffic light cameras. What are they doing with those cameras? I mean, are they really active? Are they not? Because I found out last week, a friend of mine, he got like 3 tickets in the mail for turning when he wasn't supposed to turn. But then you see on the news sometimes they say, oh, well, no, they're taking those away because it's a privacy issue. And I mean, I don't know, I don't follow that, but is there anything you can input on that?
Yeah, I'll give you a little scoop here, Alan, right on your first podcast. True confession, your city commissioner received a citation for not stopping at a red light. Conway and Curry Ford. So a full confession, as the Catholics say, you gotta confess your sins. So there's my confession. But yeah, they're working. $158 later.
Wow.
Stop at the red light. And I, when I got the thing in the mail, I had no idea I'd even done it. That's what was scary. So again, reminder to myself: slow down, relax. We'll get there. So they do work, and we rotate them around. I think Edgar said right. We rotate and it's not really controlled by the.
Yeah, we have some that rotate around, or they're capable of putting in locations to see if it's a good spot for it. But yeah, for the most part, they permanently fix that location, and they share those locations with folks.
Like the one here at this light, is that permanently affixed for the middle school, or is that a movable one?
For it to be out here, if it's a red light camera
Yeah.
ticket location,
Right.
it'll look different than just the camera over the light.
Okay.
Yeah, there's
Well,
a
I'm not
box,
familiar with
there's
this.
a box on the
Yeah.
side of the road, it's fairly big, and it takes video, still pictures.
Oh, wow, okay.
And usually there is a sign that says photo enforced.
It'll say red light
But
camera.
most of our lights now do have a small camera, but that's for traffic control,
Okay.
to sense when people are sitting at the light, to
Too
turn the
long.
light quicker. Yeah.
Okay, good.
So there's kind of.
That's
two types
good
of-
news, because this light out here is
Yeah.
kind of crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
You'll sit there 10 minutes before you get a turn signal. It's like- But anyway, I'm gonna end this podcast.
Wait,
Again,
I want to give my traffic plug.
You wanna give your, oh, go
Yes.
ahead, Mr. Parker.
So, people, don't hate your blinkers when you're changing lanes. I feel like this last month, I was like, why do people hate blinkers? It's okay to use your blinker.
Yeah.
But actually, with schools and traffic, for the first week of school, give your school lots of patience when it comes to drop off and pick up. It will go slow at first because we're not only training parents who might be new to the school on how the traffic pattern works, but we're also training the kids.
Yeah.
Like, okay, listen for your name. When they call your name, this is where you go. So everyone's getting a lot of instructions. So give us lots of patience and grace during that first week of school. I promise it'll get better.
Are you planning to do anything about the pick up and drop off on the soccer side of the field at your school? No, you're still gonna cause my driveway to be blocked at 3. Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. That's not a problem.
At least you know. At least you
I
know.
know. I'm good. I won't come home at
But
3.
you know what? Now that we're a little smaller, it's a much smaller window.
Well, that's true.
But I don't have the staff members to enforce that.
That's fine. So I want to thank everybody that was viewing this morning and thank our wonderful group here. We'd love to do it again, depending on their schedule. We can always get updates maybe on a quarterly basis. Again, my name's Alan Maycumber, Premier Sotheby's, Lake Nona. We're always here to answer your questions, so feel free to give me a call. And I will pass on any questions you may have to this group. I know that I don't think they're willing to give out their cell phone numbers. They would be bombarded. You can bombard me all day long. I have no problem with it. So feel free to give me a call. Enjoy it. We'll be back in touch for next week. Lake Nona Voice. Thank you.